Good morning. Today we're going to do public relations. Now, if they ask you to define public relations is communication with different individuals about what is your company all about. Now, what must the PRO do in this circumstance under defining the PR rules? It is establish and maintain favorable image of the company. It is create goodwill and good image of the company to the outside world. That is the definition of the public relations. Now, there is two publics. They can ask you in the exam, name and explain them or only name them. But it is very easy. We get two publics. It is the internal publics and the external publics. What is the internal publics? The internal publics is what the word's saying to you. Internal. It's within the company, like management and staff. External publics. It is the external publics. Shareholders, media, you can name them. That is the two different publics. What is, now people, the following is important. There is different sections of the PRO or PRP. Both of them are correct in the exams. The general, if you see the word general, then you know there is 4 leading aspects for general. Now, what is the general? It is to maintain and handle the image of the company. It is to manage the spread of the information between the organization and the publics. It is to persuade the public to have a favorable image of the company, and it's to liaise with the outside world and the internal staff. So if I can give you 4 keywords there, it is maintain, it is manage, it is persuade. That is the 3 words that's important. Maintain, manage, persuade, and liaise is the 4th one. Okay, let's check again. The roles of the practitioner. But please don't only mention them, you need to be able to explain them. It is to maintain, it is to manage, it is to persuade, and it is to liaise. Maintain, manage, persuade, and liaise. That is important. Then you will be able to explain the role of the practitioner. Now they can ask you, what is the 5 distinctive activities of the public relations officer? There is 5 of them. You must be able to explain them and you must be able to name them. What is the 5? Press relations. Press relations already tell you it is a communication with the press. Press relations. Product publicity is the products of the company. Corporate publicity, how you look. How do your company, not you per se, but how does the company portray themselves? Lobbying is the influence others to take a stand against something. It's very good for an organization to stand for a specific case, and then they can get well known about that as well. So it is very good. Lobbying. So for instance, stand against drug abuse. Counseling. Counseling, the general advisor to the management. Be very careful of this question. In the exams, they love to throw it in as a true and false question sometimes, where they make a statement. The PRO is the general advisor to the staff. It is false. He is the general advisor to the management. Please be very careful of that small itchy bitsy teeny mini miny things that they throw in your direction. The job specification of the PRO. People, this is also very, very important. You will find it on page 56, 57 if you have the textbook that we've got. The 5 specifications of the PRO is personal characteristics, personal appearance, specific skills, knowledge required, and qualifications. You need to know them out by heart. Sometimes they give it to you and say, explain them. Then it's easier. But please do not think they're going to give it to you. Know the job specification of the PRO. And you also need to know 5 marks under each section. Because in one exam, they asked a question and it went for 30 marks. And the previous exam, I think it went for a little bit less, like 15 marks. But people, be very, very, very sure you know the job specification of the PRO. Let's look at personal characteristics. Personal characteristics is like you've got strong responsibility, you moral and personal integrity, you've got tolerance for stress, you honest actions, you are a hard worker, you can manage under pressure. That is personal characteristics. What is personal appearance? That is how you look. Are you appear professional? Do you dress for the occasion? Like you can't go to a golf course for a golf meeting in a suit, a collar and a tie, because it won't fit. You have your golf clothes on. Well-groomed and responsible, subtle makeup, dress for the occasion, not wild jewelry and things, tattoos, because in the tourism industry, it is not visible for people to have tattoos. And if you've got a tattoo, please rather cover up your tattoo. Specific skills. Now, specific skills is what you're really good at. You've got photography skills, you've got leading skills, you've got organizational skills, you've got mathematical skills. That is skills, things that you're good at. Knowledge required. That is specific skills. If you think back to business travel, there's also, when you do the presentation, even with incentive travel, when you do the presentation, you need to have knowledge of certain areas. That is why knowledge is important. You need to have knowledge of the strengths and weaknesses of the company, the threats and opportunities. You need to know the different opportunities. You need to know what is going on in the country. You need to have knowledge of the different fairs and how to address the different fairs. The qualification, you need to have a 3-year diploma with public relations. You can have a suitable diploma through Prisma, like journalism and communication. People, what is also important, I'm just thinking of it now, it is you need to be able to, if they give it to you in a case study, they love doing it. I saw in 2 or 3 question papers, they give you a case study and then say to you, discuss a job specification for a PRO after reading the case study. What I would suggest, you immediately write the different headings. Otherwise, you're going to get confused. Immediately write the different headings of the job specification. And as soon as you read the case study, underline the certain things that you are sure is part of them. Then you go back to your case study and you look, everything that you underline, where does this belong? Where does this belong? Because I can say John McIntyre has a 3-year diploma in public relations. He also has journalism. He's a person with strong characteristics, and he has a tolerance for stress, and he can work very hard under difficult situations. He's have knowledge and strengths of all the different activities and of product, and he's got product knowledge. So then you need to know where you need to fit them. You need to be able to know all of them and what they're standing for. Then they love asking you, what is the definition between the characteristics and skill? A characteristic is what you're born with. You're good with talking, you're an outgoing person, you're an honest person. A skill is what you're good at. Mathematics, photography. A skill is also something that you can learn to get better with. Aim of the publicity campaign. That is also very important. The aim is where you have to make the people aware of what is going on in the publicity campaign. There's 6 different steps. Steps. Yes, I said steps. Steps must be in order. What is the steps? I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier through actions, and I hope you understand that I try to find a song that is catchy, but I can't think of something now at this stage. If any of you are thinking of something, you can send a message to me. The steps, they ask it in different ways. They can scramble it. You need to put it in the correct way. You need to explain certain steps. They concentrate specifically on 4 of those steps very incentively, but I will speak to you about those ones. But let's first tackle the steps. Okay, let me just sit up straight. Step 1, define the situation. Step 1, define the situation. Step 2, setting the objectives. Step 2, setting the objectives. Step 3, identify the target audience. Step 3, identify the target audience. Step 4, formulate a plan of action. Step 4, formulate a plan of action. Step 5, determine the budget. Step 5, determine the budget. Step 6, evaluation and feedback. Evaluation and feedback. Let's do it once more. Step 1, define the situation. Step 2, setting the objectives. Step 3, identify the target audience. Step 4, formulate a plan of action. Step 5, determine the budget. Step 6, evaluation and feedback. Now, I hope you will remember it. Now, the ones that you really need to go into more depth is setting the objectives. What is important under setting the objectives is to inform and motivate the publics. That is very important. Inform and motivate the publics. Identify the target audience. Very important to know. You identify them according to demographics and to characteristics. Demographics and characteristics. Demographics can be the location, the age, the gender, the income. The characteristic is the attitude, the lifestyle. So please be able to know those ones, to be able to explain them. Formulate a plan of action. What different communication channels are there? What communication channels are you going to use? And they love to ask this one in different case studies, and you need to give them different communications. Why would you use a cell phone? Why would you use this? And why would you use that specific channel? Determine the budget. Now, under determine the budget, there's two issues that they really look to see if you know it. Obviously, when you determine the budget, you plan different activities. Now, what they concentrate on is the cost of the planned activities as well as the cost of executing the activities. So please remember them, the cost of the planned activities and the cost of the executing of the activities. Okay, guys, let's do the steps once more. Step 1, define the situation. Step 2, setting the objectives. Step 3, identify the target audience. Step 4, formulate a plan of action. Step 5, determining the budget. Step 6, evaluation and feedback. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Guys, please, this is a very short unit and module, but please, it is a very important module. A lot of the marks are coming out of this model. So please do not leave out anything in this theme. You need to be able to know everything in theme, and you need to know to study it and to explain it. Also, when you finish with the video, read through your book again and do the summative assessment on page 63. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Go well. Till next time.